I'm heating up. And I could see them from the angle I was watching, but they couldn't see me. And all I wanted to do was storm over there and go off on this guy.
Wyatt, I love you. As a man, it's in our DNA to be somewhat territorial over the things we love and possess. We can't help it. We don't like sharing. This might be because we all have a little alpha in us. Like it or not, we want to be the man. We want to be the best. For example, in the wild, the leader of the wolf pack from time to time will be challenged by another male of the pack if he thinks he caught the leader slipping. And this will result into a battle to prove who's truly most fit to be the leader of the pack. The winner shall take the throne, while the loser, well, things don't really work out so well for him. He is banished from the pack to fend for himself, and in some cases, death. I think this parallel can be compared to human beings, although in most cases I'd like to think we wouldn't battle to the death, even though that used to be a thing.
This is Sparta!
But my point is, as a man, we are in constant competition with other men around us. We must be strong, because there's always another guy just lurking in the shadows, waiting desperately just for an opportunity to take what you believe to be yours. It is very literally a dog-eat-dog world, and sometimes the fear of losing something you love, or in my case, someone, that can turn into jealousy. And I had to learn that the hard way. Let me introduce you to my first real girlfriend, Willow. That's not her real name, but for the sake of the story, that's what we'll call her. How me and Willow got together is a story for another day, but we pretty much have been dating all summer 2011, getting ready to enter our freshman year of high school together. Now, one of the biggest issues me and Willow had in our relationship was we just didn't really spend that much time together outside of school. Some of y'all might be able to relate to this. It was that kind of relationship where school was pretty much the only time I got to hang out with her. And if I'm gonna call a spade, this was mainly because I was black. Now I know what you're thinking, but let me explain. I don't really think Willow's mom and dad were outright the R word. At least not extremely, right? But I had to face the fact that I don't think at the time they were too fond of the idea of me dating their daughter because, you know. And she knew this. But at 14 years old, there's only so much sneaking around you could really do. Neither of us could drive.
Oh God! Turn away or stop! The brake!
We both played sports, different ones at that. So our after school time was very limited. So as a result, we just became that couple that you literally would go to the bathroom in class just to hang out for like 5 minutes in the hallway. Now just to be clear, very clear, we were not that type of couple. You know the ones where they just make out profusely as if they're never gonna see each other again? Like, bruh, get a room. You're literally making everyone around you feel uncomfortable. But you get the point. I really liked Willow. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the fact that we had to put so much effort just to see each other, but it made my emotions heightened. The best way I could explain it is I think I became infatuated with the thought of being with her, because even though she was my girlfriend technically, so much of our relationship was left up to my imagination. Nonetheless, things were good until one day. David showed up. David was the new kid. He transferred here from another school, and you already know how these girls get with new kids. I don't really have much of a backstory on this guy, but all I do know is I hated this nigga. Why? Because coincidentally, David ended up getting 3 of the same classes with Willow. One of them being the only class I had with her. And in that class, the teacher sat him right next to her. They played the same sport together, so they spent a lot of time after school. And of course, coincidentally, he ended up in the same friend group as hers. Who does this guy think he is? And I don't want to sound like a hater, but I just couldn't stand this smirk he always had on his face. Like, every time I saw him, I just wanted to knock him out. You ever met someone that just had a punchable face? That was David. Now, for being honest, looking back, more than half of those things were completely out of his control, right? But at the time, I just couldn't help but think, this guy has his eyes set out on Willow. He's trying to bag my bitch. Time passed, and obviously they started to become friends. Now, most girls are gonna have guy friends. It's normal. As long as you stay secure and confident, most times your girl's gonna feed off of that energy and stay 10 toes down. Unless she's like missing a toe or something, then 9 toes is the best she got. But this is where I went wrong. Here I am struggling to see my own girlfriend in school, much less outside of school, and this random dude just comes out of nowhere and is spending all of his time with her, my girl. And I'm sure her parents would just be so much more fond of him over me. I'm not sure why though. How could I not start to feel jealous? I think anyone in this position would start to feel a little jelly, at least a little bit. So one day, I just couldn't take it anymore, and I confronted her about it on one of our little bathroom dates. Hey, babe. Hey, is everything okay? Your message kinda gave me some stressed out vibes. I just want you to be honest with me. Of course. What's going on? Is there anything going on between you and David? What? David? Of course not. We're just friends. Why would you even think that? I don't know. I just can't shake the feeling that you guys have been getting closer, and sometimes I feel like our relationship feels stagnant. I just really don't want to lose you, Willow. Wyatt, I love you. You don't have to worry about losing me. Just trust me. And there it was. She said exactly everything I needed to hear. They were just friends, and I was just an emotional, overthinking teenager. And if I'm being honest, after that conversation, I felt a lot better. Did I still very much dislike David? Yes. But I had to trust that Willow was telling me the truth. Yeah, okay. So maybe only a couple weeks had passed since that conversation, and on my end, nothing's changed. I still hardly saw my girl, and she was still hanging out with David every day. It honestly was pissing me off if I'm keeping it a stack. But all those negative emotions, I just kept them bottled up deep inside because someone I love and trusted looked me in my face and told me everything was Gucci. So no matter how much my gut was telling me otherwise, I had to keep it together, which I was doing a pretty good job if you ask me. But there's only so much a nigga can handle. So me and Willow had different lunch periods. I had lunch at 11 a.m. and she had hers at 12 p.m. What I didn't know was David also had lunch at 12. So you're telling me for the past few months, it's possible this guy has been with my girl, caked up for a whole hour a day, unannounced? I had to know the truth. Ain't no way I could let that slide without knowing. So I did the only logical thing. I skipped class. I'm going to 12 p.m. lunch. And lo and behold, who did I see sitting right next to Willow having a jolly good old time? You guessed it. David, the fucking man. Bruh, I'm heating up. And I could see them from the angle I was watching, but they couldn't see me. And all I wanted to do was storm over there and go off on this guy. But I knew them sitting together at lunch wasn't enough proof to prove anything. I couldn't give that type of reaction. I needed to catch them in the act. So with quick thinking, I pulled out my phone and started texting Willow straight off impulse. And I asked her, who are you with right now? Bruh, tell me why I dead ass watched this girl pick up her phone, text me back, me and the girls. Why are you asking? Oh no, holy. Then as she puts her phone down, with the quickness, continues to have what seems to be the best conversation she's ever engaged in. You would have thought he was the Joker and she was Harley Quinn the way he had my girl laughing, bruh. She lied to me. Now I need vengeance. I couldn't trust her anymore, but the simp in me still wanted to believe there was nothing going on, and for all I knew, technically there wasn't. But why did she lie? Lord, please forgive me for this next part. I walked over to Willow's lunch table, and when I tell you I went off, bruh, I went off. I just started blurting out the most hurtful things I could possibly think of. I was going crazy. If I would have just called her a thought to her face,
Be gone, fuck!
that would have been the nice way to go about it. But compared to the things I said, holy, I think the devil himself might have handpicked a spot in hell for me. I trusted you, and you cheating on me in front of everyone with this guy? You literally making me look like an idiot. What is wrong with you? Wyatt, what are you talking about? I can't hold a conversation with another guy? You're being ridiculous. Ridiculous? How am I being ridiculous? Look at his face. His face is ridiculous. He's just loving this shit. Can't you see what he's trying to do to us?
Gotcha.
After this incident, there was no going back. I let my emotions get the best of me, and I embarrassed her and myself. And from that day forward, the trust issues were just unbearable. Eventually, enough was enough, and she broke up with me. And it wasn't long after until she started dating David.